I'm the business bishop, on a mission so divine. Coaching up the kingdom, watch your glory start to shine. Step into your purpose, let ambition be your guide. Grow your greatness high with faith right by your side. In the marketplace, calling, hear the angels sing. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. Bishop Wayne's in your corner, together we'll break through. Victory's a choice and today you're gonna choose. Living out your dreams, ain't no time for second best. Fulfill your destiny, put your limits to the test. Break those chains, rise up, find your flow. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. When the marketplace call it, in the marketplace call it. In your corner, together we'll break through. Victory's a choice, and today you're gonna choose. Living out your dreams, ain't no time for second best. Fulfill your destiny, put your limits to the test. Break those chains, rise up, find your flow. Find your flow. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. Rise up, business bishop, let your victory roar. Coaching for the kingdom, you're destined for more. Rise up, business bishop, let your victory roar. Coaching for the kingdom, you're destined for more.
Hi friends, and welcome to another Kingdom Conversation with Bishop Wayne Malcolm. This ministry is here to serve those believers who have been called to the marketplace as entrepreneurs, professionals, influencers, and creators alike. This month, we are digging deep into the archives of the Business Bishop to share some insights and ideas that are designed to locate and to activate the best part of you. At the end of this message, we have an exciting announcement for you. But now, let's go into the session where Bishop Wayne was teaching a transformational message.
Tonight, I'm really going to deal with strategic future pacing. Strategic future pacing. We've entitled this Anticipating the Enemy. It really is the power of anticipation. Because strategic thinking, whether you're spiritual or secular, is a prophetic activity. Strategic thinking is prophetic in that you have to predict or anticipate certain things. People who are thinking strategically are somewhere in the future predicting or anticipating events and issues. And they are managing the future now. So I want to look at the concept of future pacing as an aspect of strategic thinking, future pacing, strategic future pacing, and the power of anticipation. So if you're excited about it, say so in the chat box and we shall pray. Yeah, let me see the chat box lighting up. If you're excited about strategic future pacing as a facet, as an aspect of strategic thinking, then light up the chat box and we'll pray as you do that. So Father, thank you so much for another opportunity to connect, to share, to learn, and to grow. Thank you for this crowd, this company of people who have prioritized their destiny of greatness by investing in their personal development. I pray that you meet us at the point of our need, at the point of our faith, and be glorified in this Mordecai moment in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. So I'm going to talk about the wisdom of Joseph. We'll look at future pacing, anticipating the enemy, locating the enemy's camp, intelligence, battlefronts, knowing your weapons, defense and offense, contingencies, and apologetics. So let's start with the wisdom of Joseph. Genesis 41, verses 36 to 38. This is Joseph advising the Pharaoh. He has become chief advisor to the Pharaoh, a consultant managing a crisis in the service of the kingdom. And here's what he says: and that food shall be stored to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this? Is a man in whom the Spirit of God is. Woo! Can we find such a one as this? Is a man in whom the Spirit of God is. So, of course, the wisdom of Joseph was his prophetic ability to anticipate trouble in the future, to anticipate a crisis, to anticipate 7 years of famine, and to create contingencies, to create solutions today for tomorrow's problems. And in this respect, Joseph was thinking strategically. He was future pacing, and because of his forethought and his foresight, he was able to protect the kingdom from a famine that would certainly have wiped out the whole land of Egypt. And so strategic future pacing is about practicing the wisdom of Joseph. It is about our ability to anticipate the future, to make some predictions, to pace and map out the future, and to manage that future right now. So future pacing. Future pacing starts with a clear vision of the future. A clear vision of the future. Now, can we predict with absolute certainty what the future will be? The answer is no. Perhaps the safest way to predict the future is to create it. And there are some people, of course, who are just waiting to see what happens next. The problem with waiting to see what happens next is that your entire life strategy is reactionary. And so you're always thinking impulsively and emotionally instead of thinking strategically and intentionally. The fact is that you have plans, you have dreams, you have goals. You have decided to pursue your passion and to live out your dreams and to achieve your goals. Therefore, you must make plans and provisions, not just based on where you are, but based on where you believe you're going to be. So where do you believe you're going to be in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Where do you believe you're going to be? If you believe you're going there, then you begin making strategic and informed and intentional decisions today in the light of where you believe you're going to be tomorrow. So it starts with that clear vision of the future, your vision of the future. You cannot think strategically without a vision for the future. And of course, the word strategy is a military phrase that describes the battle plan of the generals. The general's job is to create the plan, and the soldiers then execute on the plan. But the plan is to win. The plan is to win that war, to take that territory, to seize those cities. Whatever the plan is, there is a vision of the future. But in order to future pace, you must, you cannot simply have a vision of the future. you also have to be realistic about the challenges you will face along the way. You have to be realistic about your own challenges, and not to think of realism when it comes to challenge as some form of unbelief or some sort of doubt. I know some Christians, this won't even entertain the idea of challenge. And because you won't even entertain the idea, then you are never prepared when a challenge presents itself. You're never prepared when something goes wrong or something deviates from the script, when someone lets you down, or when a set of resources that you thought would be available are not. And these are the people that are most likely to quit and most likely to become bitter about life. People who are most likely to keep winning are people that have a clear vision of the future, but they are realistic about the challenges that they're going to face. Realistic about the challenges that they're going to face. Number three, future pacing means to anticipate needs. To anticipate needs. It's to know what I'm going to need this time next year, what I'm going to need the year after that, what I'm going to need in the next 5 years, what I'm going to need in the next 10 years. However long your vision is, you have to anticipate the needs. Just like Joseph, he said, look, there's going to be a famine, we're going to need food. He was realistic about the challenge, and he was able to anticipate those needs. Then the final key to future pacing is to manage your future now. To manage your future now. Not just to dream about it, fantasize about it, or talk about it, but actually to believe that this thing is real. Because, you know, I guess there's a difference between hope and expectation. Someone that is hoping for the best is not very sure when, if, or how the best is going to occur. But someone that's expecting the best, that person is making preparation for what's about to happen. So when a lady realizes that she has conceived and is carrying a child, we say she is expecting. She is expecting. She knows that she has 9 months, and therefore is not waiting for 9 months to pass before she starts making preparations for what she is expecting. So whatever you are expecting to materialize in your future, you should be managing the expectation right now. And that's strategic future pacing. So I want to talk about, you know, being realistic about your challenges and anticipating the enemy. Now, when I say the enemy in this particular context, I'm really not talking about demons. I'm not talking about witches and wizards. I'm really talking about your challenges, the things that challenge you. And it's very important that we are realistic about our challenges when we are envisaging the future. So if you decide that you're going to get a degree in a particular subject, or that you're going to go for your master's, or that you're going for a PhD, well, you're more likely to achieve those outcomes if you can be realistic right now about your challenges. So I'm just going to use that as an example and say that your challenges, you know, may sit in one of these 4 categories. Your challenges may sit in one of these 4 categories. So it could be personal. It could be personal in terms of your physical and mental health. So anticipating the enemy means, how can I ensure that my physical, mental health and fitness does not interrupt my future plans? How can I ensure that my physical and mental health and wellness does not interrupt my future plans? Because the reality is that your future plans are going to require energy from you. Energy, physical energy and mental energy and stamina. It's going to require a certain level of fitness for you to fulfill your dreams and your aspirations, for you to reach the summit of Mount Achievement it's going to require a certain amount of energy. So there's some people, because they are anticipating the challenge, they are already making changes to their diet, to their daily routine, so that they're getting exercise, so that they're building muscles, so that they are gaining strength. That is strategic thinking, because these people realize that I'm going to need a certain level of energy and strength as the time goes on. And so that's one form of anticipating your challenge. But what about the financial challenges and the resource challenges? How can I ensure that I don't run out of money or insure against the unexpected? So when people take out insurance policies, what they're doing is they are managing potential crisis. And they are doing it in such a way that they don't have to dip into their savings or their own investments in order to pay for an unscheduled emergency. So whether that's home insurance, car insurance, health insurances, whatever the case, you want to be strategic about the challenges that you may face in the future and take steps to ring fence the funds and the resources you're going to need in order to finish and to finish well. Perhaps your challenge is relational. And this is where you have to ask some pretty painful questions. Who could let me down? Who could let me down? Or even actively oppose or sabotage my plans? Okay? So people who are blind to the fact that there are people in your life who cannot celebrate your progress, who cannot celebrate your aspiration, you know, that is short-sighted. It's short-sighted, and it is the opposite of strategic thinking. A strategic thinker says, actually, a lot of my plan relies on this particular person, but what if they let me down? They also say, okay, look, there are some people that could actively oppose what I'm trying to do, or even sabotage my plans. So I'm going to set certain things in place. So for example, you might be going into business with someone, and the reality is that once you're in business with someone, then there's a certain amount of knowledge sharing, and there are secrets that you learn about each other's methods and sources. But strategic thinkers are saying, okay, who could sabotage my plans? And so they start saying, okay, you know what we're going to do from the get-go is we're going to put everything down on paper. We're going to sign some contracts. We're going to have some confidentiality agreements in place and some non-disclosure agreements in place. Why are you doing that? You're doing that because you don't think impulsively or emotionally, you think strategically. And you do not want to give the enemy an opportunity to slow you down or even to derail your progress. So you start thinking about who could let you down. So you realize, hold on, so much of my plans depends on this particular person. I need 2 or 3 people like this, so that if this person becomes incapacitated for any reason, the plan does not stop. So people that are doubling up, that are scaling up, that are building capacity in their organizations, they are thinking strategically. It may seem like an expensive exercise to build capacity and to scale up, especially when you're not getting the orders, the inquiries that justify that. But strategic thinkers are saying, look, we're going somewhere with this company, we're going somewhere with this organization, and we cannot have the whole operation depending on 1, 2, or 3 people who are the only people in the world who know how to do what needs to be done. You then start to say, okay, look, we need to double up, we need to triple up, we need to scale up, we need to build capacity. Why? Because you are anticipating your challenges at the relational level. You anticipate challenge at the financial level. You anticipate any personal challenges. And I know I've said, health and fitness, but, in our personal space, there are so many things that could challenge us. And so you want to anticipate those things, get ahead of those things, and sort of practice Murphy's Law and dare to imagine that those things actually happen. Dare to imagine that those things actually happen. Because this is the wisdom of Joseph. Think about it with me for just a moment. Joseph did not say, look, I've had a dream, or the interpretation of your dream is that 7 years of plenty will be consumed by 7 years of famine. But I don't want to talk about the famine. I don't want to think about the famine. I don't want to confess the famine. I want to pray against the famine. This was not the wisdom of Joseph. Joseph said, look, good times are going to be followed by bad times. And we need to be ready when those bad times appear so that we do not become worse off, so that we do not perish, so the kingdom does not perish. And thanks to Joseph's strategic thinking, the Pharaoh came out of the famine richer than he went in. So the years that were designed to consume him, instead, those years served to promote him and to prosper him. And I want to say this to someone. I know I'm going fast, I have a lot to get through, but I want to say this to someone tonight, that the years that were meant to consume you can serve to promote you and prosper you. They can serve to promote you and prosper you. The things that were meant to consume you, they can serve to promote and prosper you. And it is a matter of daring to imagine that years of famine will come, so that you can start mitigating and creating contingencies and pacing that future and managing it now. So there is another group of challenges here, and that's spiritual. Okay, how can I ensure that I am spiritually fit and covered against fiery darts? So it's one thing to say, look, I have a dream, I have a vision, I have a goal. Please don't think that the enemy of your soul is going to sit back and watch you win, is going to sit back and watch you become influential, prosperous, and powerful in your field. The last thing he wants is a productive, prosperous, and influential believer at the helm of any organization of any type. And so there is a degree of spiritual attack. Okay, once you say I belong to Christ, that's a declaration of war against the kingdom of darkness. And you have to anticipate that and say, look, as part of my planning, I'm going to get my prayer routine and my prayer life in order. I'm also going to secure the partnership of prayer partners who will act as a prayer shield for me and me for them, because we're going to go through this thing with a degree of spiritual covering and protection. And we're doing it because we are not in denial about the years of famine. Instead, we are proclaiming that these years that are meant to consume us are going to serve to promote and prosper us. The famine that's meant to wipe us out is actually going to set us up. And this is how you begin thinking strategically in your ability to anticipate challenge. Now, I want to take it to another level and say that your enemies, that is your challenges, are encamped at a strategic location. If you can identify the camp, you can launch a preemptive strike. So this is a bit kind of military terminology, but I want you to realize that Gideon did not wait to be attacked. Gideon did not fight a defensive battle. He did not launch a defensive campaign. He actually located the enemy's camp and he preemptively struck the enemy's camp. That was part of the divine strategy. And it's something that I'm encouraging today, because all of your challenges are actually encamped at strategic locations in your life. Typically in your timeline and in your circumstances, the enemies, which are your challenges, they are encamped at strategic locations. Once you know where they are encamped, then you don't wait to be attacked. You go on the offensive, because your best defense is a good offense. I wish I had some help in here. Your best defense is a good offense. So what is the enemy's camp? What is the enemy's camp? Where is the enemy encamped? Where are your challenges most likely to converge? Where are they most likely to converge? So I've given some possibilities here. First of all, there are inevitable life stages and transitions. Understand that no matter how prayerful you are, no matter how spiritual you are, there are some inevitable life stages and transitions that you are going to go through, in which life will change for you dramatically. Now, most of us who've been through midlife get that, but at every stage in life, there are these transitions, and very often people, because they've been in denial about the transitions, have made no preparation for the transition and haven't realized that all of your challenges are going to converge upon you at these particular transitions. So the key is to realize that many of your challenges are going to be encamped at your next transition, and then say, okay, look, in my next transition, a lot of my challenges are going to present themselves. So rather than me waiting for it to come at me, let me go at it. Let me take the weapons of my warfare and go at it, and literally go into this life stage and this life transition with, armed and dangerous, armed with knowledge, armed with skills, armed with information, armed with strategic relationships, and building the relationships now that you're going to need then. There's no point in waiting till the whole thing happens and all your enemies are encamped at this life transition and you just were not prepared for it. We have to be realistic about future challenge if we're going to be thinking strategically. All right, number 2, major decisions. Major decisions are an enemy's camp. Woo-hoo. Major decisions are an enemy's camp. If you are about to change your career, know that the enemy is encamping right there in that major decision. And that all of your challenges, whether they be personal, financial, relational, spiritual, they're all going to converge in this major decision. So rather than waiting for it all to attack you, you start to attack it. I'm going to show you how in just a moment. If you are about to get married, that is a major life decision. And the enemy can be encamped in that particular moment where you're challenged personally, financially, relationally, and spiritually. So what you do is you make preparations for the enemy and you storm the enemy's camp so that the enemy does not suffocate, sabotage, or derail what God has ordained for your life. And if you're relocating geographically, that could be an enemy's camp. All right, let's talk about a few more enemy camps. Toxic relationship at home or at work. God help me now. A toxic relationship at home or at work. You may find that your biggest challenges are literally inside these toxic relationships. And if you're not careful, you're just hoping for the best and waiting to see what happens next. That means you're thinking impulsively, you're thinking emotionally, you're thinking reactively, you are not proactive in your thinking, you're not intentional, you're not strategic. If you are in a toxic relationship at home or at work, you must develop a plan. You need a plan. You need a plan to either manage or exit the problem. You need a plan. And you don't wait for everything to go crazy. You know the enemy is encamped there. You develop a plan to either manage, to solve and resolve, or to escape for your life. Sometimes the enemy is encamped in your own character flaws and weaknesses, your own internal conflicts, meaning that it's not, it's not people that have the potential to derail your destiny. It's not lack of resource that has that potential. It's not a health crisis that has that potential. It is simply the weaknesses in your own character. And that's where the enemy is encamped. So rather than waiting for the enemy to come at you, you go at the enemy because you already know that's an enemy's camp for me. So I hope that's useful because this kind of feeds into the kingpin strategy that we're going to deal with next week. That strategic thinking really involves, targeting the one thing that makes everything else possible and probable. It means going for the kingpin that knocks the other pins down. And so as part of that concept, I like to deal with the enemy's camp, not wait for the enemy to come at me, but rather to identify where the enemy really is. And sometimes I've been able to see the enemy is in my ignorance. So I'm going after the enemy. The enemy is in a toxic environment. So I'm going after that. The enemy is in a particular life stage and transition. I'm going after that. That's what Gideon did. He did not wait for the enemy to group and come at him. He went after the enemy because your best defense is a good offense. All right, if you're being blessed tonight, I need you to light up the chat box. Just go ahead and light up the chat box. Woo! That's right. I want to see you writing in the chat box because I feel like God is giving some answers to folks tonight. And what we're hearing is not new, but it's confirming what you've already known. That you can't be waiting for the enemy to make another move in your life. If you know where he is, go after him. Woo! Go after him. Get ahead of that. So I want to talk about really how you do that. How you do that is, number one, you gather intelligence. Intelligence on your enemy. In the Bible, it's called sending out spies. Moses sent spies into the promised land to gather intelligence on their strongholds, their capacity, their positioning, their weapons. And they went into the promised land and they came back with information. No one can fight strategically without information. You'll notice in the Genesis that let there be light is the first order of creation. Let there be light is the first order of creation. So that even before God begins, manufacturing his intention, before God materializes his idea and transforms a lifeless planet into a fruitful and habitable place, the first thing he says is, let there be light. And if you're going to attack the enemy in the area of your health and wellness, in the area of your personal finances and resources, in the area of your relationships and in your spiritual life, if you're going to attack the enemy, then start by studying. Start by studying. Let there be light. Get information, as much information as you can about the major challenges you face. So if there's a character flaw in your life, study it. Get books on it. Watch YouTube videos on it. Listen to TED Talks on it. Subscribe to podcasts that deal with it. Get information. If you know that the enemy has been encamping in your finances, then become financially intelligent. Become financially sophisticated and financially informed and begin studying. Start with the light. To say, let there be light on my finances. Let there be light in the arena of my incomes. Let there be light. And you begin to study these things so that you have intelligence, because the more intelligence you have on these subjects is the more options you're going to have. Okay? And you're going to have not just one way of dealing with this, but multiple ways of dealing with this. Woo! Not just one way, but multiple ways, because you've gathered intelligence. You're not going to feel like a hostage. You're not going to feel like a victim, because you're going to feel like, I've got at least 5 ways I can get out of this. I've got at least 5 ways I can get over this. I've got at least 5 ways I can get around this. Where did it come from? It came from the light. The information, the intelligence that you're gathering about your challenges, they are your enemies. All right. Now, I'm going to dive into this. Wars are made up of many battles that are fought on many fronts. Wars are made up of many battles that are fought on many fronts. If you lose a battle, does not mean that you have lost the war. If you lose all your battles, then you have lost the war. So there are going to be episodes, okay? These, I think of them as battles. You have to win your battles. And this means you have to choose your battles. I don't know who this is for. I feel this is prophetic tonight, that I'm ministering to someone in the spirit. Choose your battles, and choose them carefully, because your energy is a limited resource. Your energy is a limited resource. And the enemy will set up smoke screens and scarecrows, and he'll invite you into a fight. The enemy will invite you into a fight in order to break your focus, drain or deplete your energy, and steal your time. The enemy will invite you into a fight to break your focus, to drain your enemy, and to waste your time. So you have to choose your battles carefully. When Jesus said, if a man smites you on your right cheek, offer him the left, I don't believe he was teaching pacifism. What he was teaching is that no one should have the power over your response. No one should be given power over your response. Because whereas you cannot choose what happens to you in life, you can always choose your response, and your response is your power. Your response is your power. Your ability to respond is your responsibility. And so if someone can force you to react, then that person has power over you. I believe that what Jesus was teaching is this: choose your battles carefully. If God sends you into a battle, then he's going with you. He has gone ahead of you. That victory is already won. But if the devil invites you into a battle, you need to learn how to turn the other cheek and say no, because you're not going to break my focus, drain my energy, or waste my time. Because there are some battles that even if you win them, you lose. You lose because you lost time. You lose because you lost focus. You lose because you lost energy. You lose because your true goal, your true mission, your true assignment has been stalled while you're fighting someone that God never sent you to fight. Someone may really be rude and abusive to you. Sometimes that's just the devil inviting you into a fight. And you need to recognize that's the devil trying to get me off track. Okay, so that was for someone. You might have to tell me who you are when we are finished. But you choose your battles, and you choose them carefully. You only fight the battles that pertain to your war. And your war pertains to your revelation of destiny and the future that you desire. That's worth fighting for. And you choose your battles so that you're not fighting battles that have nothing to do with where you're trying to go in life. Battles are fought on many fronts. So here are the fronts. Number one, there is usually an air campaign. And for us, that represents the prayer war. So if you're going to fight the enemy, make sure you mount an air campaign and come in with your prayers. Come in with some airstrikes from above. Come in with your authority in the name of Jesus, and come in with some prayer power, because that's the air campaign. Okay, you're going to storm the enemy's camp. Make sure that there's an air campaign. And then there's usually a sea campaign. And I think of that as the potential war. I think of that as all the things that could happen, you mitigating against those things, but it's kind of floating. It's not, it's a sea war. Then there's a land campaign, and that's the actual struggle, the actual fight for your future, the decisions you have to make, the people you have to let down, the no's that you have to repeat. Woo! Come on now. The decisions you have to make, the people you have to let down, the no's you have to be willing to say. That becomes the practical war. But then there's another war, which is the propaganda war. It's a psychological war. And every army that's engaged in battle is busy telling and selling their story. And part of how we fight is to actually broadcast a story, a narrative, and telling your story is an important part of winning your war. That's another session for another lesson. Let's go. So you got to know your weapons. You got to know your weapons. All right, I'm getting there. You got to know your weapons. Number one, what do you have in the house? Moses, what is in your hand? Just the rod. Okay, throw it down. Oh, it became a serpent. Now pick it up. Oh, it's a rod again. Okay, so realize that whatever is at your disposal, God can use miraculously. Don't ever say, I have nothing. I'm down to nothing. I have got nothing. You always have something. And the something that you have is the key to everything else that you need. So your key is to recognize and value the little things that you possess, because little things are keys to big doors and to big opportunities. What do you have in the house? Conduct a personal audit to figure out what you do have. That's called count your blessings. Name them one by one. It will surprise you what the Lord has done. Knowing your weapons. Number two, who do you know that could help? Now begin to categorize your relationships. Make a list of the people you know, the resourceful people you know, the informed people you know, the skillful people that you know, the prayerful people that you know, because you're now beginning to make a list of what you have. And let me tell you something, if you ever do this, if you sit down and start listing what you have, who you know, you're going to start feeling bigger and stronger already. You're going to start feeling the courage and the confidence of a Gideon to go out against all the odds with a trumpet and a torch. Who do you know? Who do you know? Number three, what strengths or experience or advantages do you bring to the fight? Number four, what resources do you have at your disposal? So it's about knowing what you have and realizing that what you have is all you're actually going to need, because what you have is the key to everything else you're going to need. If it's the rod in your hand, that's all you're going to need to say to Pharaoh, let my people go. Woo. Okay, I'm going to start to, well, here we go. Defensive or offensive wars. Now, I want you to, I know this is going to be a challenging statement. It's a challenging statement because we're witnessing a defensive war happening right now on our own European continent. But listen to this. You cannot win a defensive war. You can only rob the enemy of victory, which is not the same as winning. Okay? It just means you didn't lose. You cannot win. You cannot sit back and wait for the future to attack you, because all you can do is rob it of victory, but you still haven't made any progress. You've spent a decade fighting stuff that was coming at you that you could have eliminated from the get-go. Go on the attack and don't wait to come under attack. Attack your finances, your business, your health, your domestic and relational challenges intentionally with a view to winning a meaningful victory. Please screenshot that. If the enemy is encamped in your finances and you know that's where the enemy is, you're going to go and attack your finances. You want to attack? I'm attacking my finances. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to attack my health challenges, because I'm not just going to wait for them to get worse and spring upon me, so that I'm just defending myself against things that are now happening, that I had all the warnings were going to happen anyway. Joseph knew the famine was coming. He didn't wait till the famine happened. He starts storing up against the years of famine. That was his way of saying, this is not defensive. We're actually going to attack it before it attacks us. So he was attacking the famine before the famine attacked him. Woo. And contingencies and apologetics. Just want to say these two things before I start to close. Contingencies. Never depend on any one solution. Instead, create options. The more options, the more freedoms you have. You need contingencies. You need to know, okay, look, if this person drops off, this is what we're going to do. If these people let me down, this is what we're going to do. If these resources run thin, this is what we're going to do. Because we're going to have contingencies. And that's part of your strategic thinking. Because once you're thinking strategically, what you're saying is, I will not take no for an answer. We are going to achieve our goal one way or another. If we cannot go this way, we'll go that way. If we can't go up, we'll go down. If we can't go left, we'll go right. We're going to find a way, and we are going to overcome. And we're going to anticipate all of this and start managing the future now and creating those contingencies. The last piece here is apologetics, which is a branch of theology, really, because it really deals with how we explain the nuances of faith and ethical issues in faith. It's how we explain. So you need to develop some explanations now. Anticipate the arguments against your key decisions. Anticipate it. Who's gonna object? What are they gonna say? Anticipate it and start preparing your arguments now. Prepare sound, rational answers to each question. Even if you're in business and you are marketing a product or a service, you need to anticipate objections and develop answers, an apologetic, an answer for it now.
The next 4 years are going to be the most disruptive and dangerous for people who don't know this secret. Join Bishop Wayne Malcolm for his special webinar series entitled The 4-Year Challenge, in which the business bishop will explain how you can achieve the 4 freedoms, including financial freedom, time freedom, freedom of mobility, and freedom of expression, with a simple 4-year plan. He will expose the illusions of job security and the 40-year plan, promoted by the factory school system, while presenting a biblical blueprint for success through entrepreneurship. This webinar now airs at several times during the week, so there will be a time slot that works for you. A link to register is in the description below this video. Register now and embark on the road to freedom.
Hey there, entrepreneurs! If you enjoy the teachings of Bishop Wayne Malcolm, I've got something amazing for you. Introducing the New Breed Community, an exclusive online platform for kingdom-conscious entrepreneurs, professionals, investors, and creators. This isn't just a community, it's a movement where we discuss and explore kingdom concepts. Here, kingdom-minded people connect, share, learn, and grow together. Inside, you'll find exclusive content from Bishop Wayne Malcolm, including special sessions just for members. And the best part? It's free to join. The New Breed community sits on the Heartbeat platform, where Bishop Wayne Malcolm is excited to meet you online. Join us for weekly Q&A sessions with Bishop Wayne and get exclusive insights that can transform your life. Love to read? Join our book club to feed your mind and spirit. Got a prayer request? Post it and let's lift each other up. Have a testimony? Share how God's goodness is shining in your life. We're more than just a community, we're a movement. Discover the powerful relationship between your profession and your purpose. Join us now on the Heartbeat platform. Connect with us and let's grow together. Bishop Wayne Malcolm and the New Breed community are waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Hit that join button and step into a world of connection and growth. A warm welcome awaits you. See you on the inside.
Yo, it's time to rise, wake up from your sleep. Bishop Wayne's got the guidance, the wisdom runs deep. Subscribe and like, let's spread this truth loud. Comment, share it wide, let's stand tall, be proud. Kingdom coaching, we got the plan. Success principles, grab a hold and take a stand. Subscribe, like, comment and share. Bishop Wayne's teaching, we're climbing the stair. In the kingdom of hopes, together we'll thrive. With biblical truths, we'll keep dreams alive. Elevate your mind, shift that identity. In the marketplace of life, claim your clarity. Rule in the midst of the trials and the gloom. With faith as your armor, watch blessings consume. Stand firm, be bold, let your light be known. With each step forward, you'll claim your throne. Subscribe, like, comment and share. Bishop Wayne's teaching, we're climbing the stair. In the kingdom of hopes, together we'll thrive. With biblical truths, we'll keep dreams alive.